All right, all right, all right. Welcome back. I think there was a glitch in the algorithm. I'm not very sure what happened. However, we were cut off the live, probably because somebody somewhere didn't want to hear this good announcement I was about to make. But I'm going to continue with the announcement. We will continue with this live. And again, welcome to episode of the Teachers Lounge. We are grateful to be a part of this journey today with an extremely exceptional group of leaders that are in the districts around you in the metro area, not only leading schools, but supporting leaders and supporting districts at all levels. So again, if you are back on the live with us, and even if you're not, later on when you have the opportunity, please share the link, which you can find on the Community Social Justice of Atlanta page. It'll be recorded via YouTube, and you can share that later on. Or if you're watching right now, feel free to share, like, and comment. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And as we can, we will get to those and provide you with the answers. So, real quick, like I was saying, since the last, live ended arbitrarily, all I want to say is if you know an educator, you know a teacher, whether it's your children's teachers or those in the community, please take a moment. As we understand, they are on the front lines, they're doing the work, they're meeting the needs of our children, and they too deserve to be celebrated. Principals are celebrating them all the time, districts are celebrating them all the time, school boards and leaders. However, it's nothing like hearing a thank you sometimes from the actual parent or guardian of the student that you help them co-parent each and every day, that you send them to school and they're with them for the majority of those days and those weeks throughout the school year. So, with that being said, what are some great ideas that parents can do for teachers? And what are some of the things that you all have done or are doing or planning to do to celebrate our teachers this school year? Let's start out with Miss Bryant.
Okay, so I'm going to say this is so simple. Just write a note. Write a
Mm,
note. It takes nothing, an envelope, an old bill that you don't want, a sticky note. Just tell a teacher thank you. It is a
mm,
thankless profession at times, and we work hard. And as someone stated earlier, we are the profession that gives everyone else their profession. And so, thank a teacher. The work is hard, but we do it. We sacrifice our families, our time, our funds, our resources because we love what we do. And so, I would just say, write a simple note. Uh, after the age of COVID, probably not the baked goods, although there's some great bakers out there. Um, let's pass on that.
mhm.
Just give me a little note. Send me an email. Send a text, um, and just say thank you. It goes a long way. You easy and it's free.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Dr. D, I know there's a lot that goes on in Clayton County Public Schools when it comes to celebrating employees. You all are the kings and queens of celebrating employees. So share with the people how you all at the highest level of support in the district, being part of the board and the central office, celebrating our you celebrate everybody, but specifically, how are you all and what are some of the things that you all do to celebrate teachers in Clayton County Public Schools?
We try to work out a budget to give them some more money. That's what we try to do. That's what we're always trying to do and see
Good
what we
answer,
can do
Dr.
as
D.
a
Good answer.
yeah. I mean, we're tearing up our CFO is like, can we just do something? Dr. Smith, what can we do? And he's always looking at ways of trying to incentivize our teachers because it's just you just can't give it enough. I shout out Shakira for just putting on
Mm,
a
mm, mm,
phenomenal program
mm.
for our staff, our teachers, and it for me, it was just like, yeah, I was just like, I was cheesing more than they were walking down the red carpet. And just to see that appreciation. So the board supports them, but from a budget standpoint, we're always looking, we like, what they doing down at the Go Dome? Can we get some of that? So we're always trying to find out how we can get that budget and squeeze it to the point where we can incentivize our teachers. And also, just like Ms. Ryan, try to be there for them. I try to tell them as often as I possibly can, thank you. And they probably say, oh, you just on the board. That's just a cliche. No, thank you. Because Sunday, let me just share something with you. Sunday, I'm out here recruiting. I was at a church, visiting a church, and one math guy, he teaches math, has all the credentials, and he's like, I want to teach at Clayton County. I was like, what? Come on. I'm like, okay. So trying to recruit that and then talking and you have to tell the story, what our teachers are doing,
Mhm.
and like you said, Ms. Jewel, I had when I was in schools and I walk by when I'm in there, I just love the creativity of a teacher because I'm just so corporate drone, and it's like wow, and just to see them all over. And I was talking to my board member, Mr. Christmas. I said, when you go into these schools and teachers see you, that gives them a break. That we come in there and we read to them, that gives them that break to say, hey, we got it, you know. And I tell anybody, when you go into the elementary school, do not go in there trying to be cute, because you will come out just like close off. You will just, because they're on you. But that gives that teacher a moment just to decompress for a few minutes. So we want to be there for them. Invite us out and say, can y'all come and just take a class for, a period that does not disrupt the curriculum, but just take a moment, and we'll be more than glad. Just call on us. Y'all, people so scared to call on the Board of Education. Just call on us. We just can't bust your school open and say, we're here. You have to invite us in there. So being that support for them, trying to squeeze a budget to incentivize them to make sure that they're taken care of, and to let them know every day, every hour, that we truly appreciate them.
Thank you so much. We have about 15 minutes remaining. We had a 5-minute break, which took a little bit of our time, but I want to make certain that we do not neglect to move into our summer programs and our summer enrichment and those activities that should continue from the school to the community to the home during the summer, because school, although it may not be in session year round, something that's relative to school and learning and development for our children should be in place year round. And so I'm going to start with Dr. Green. If you could tell us briefly, what are some of the programs that are being offered either at your location or in middle schools for students in Clayton County Public Schools?
Yes, so we will be having summer learning academies this year in Clayton County Public Schools. So we are beginning to gear up and plan for that. And I want to take this opportunity to invite all of our fabulous teachers to be available to provide service for our scholars at our summer learning academies. And in addition to that, I know middle schools in Clayton County Public Schools, I can't speak for elementary and high, but I know middle schools as well will be doing bridge programs. And so bridge programs also assist with our rising sixth graders coming up and getting just a orientation during the summer of what it's like to be in middle school. So we're also beginning to plan for that as well. Here again, I want to emphasize parents have to take the opportunity when you see those Clayton County Public School emails coming across, tapping in, reading those so you remain informed about what Clayton County Public Schools is doing, so that you can go ahead and complete. Most of the time they are electronic surveys, so that you can enroll your children in these opportunities. That way the learning doesn't stop. That way you keep on reading, you keep those learning opportunities ever in front of them, and so that there is no gaps. What is a gap? There are no gaps in, the educational process. So we take some breaks, but we don't want any gaps to emerge during that process. So that's what Clayton County Public Schools will be doing.
And Dr. Brian, I'm going to come to you, and then Ms. Jewel, I'm going to come to you, but I'm going to put a little spin on the question. So give me 1 second. But Ms. Brian, I know that you work with our most precious little ones. Salute to you for working with our most precious little babies. My background is Millen High School, so I don't know if I could have braved those hallways, but salute to you. What are you all doing to ensure that even our small babies, and all the way up to maybe 5th grade, but I know you serve K through 2, what are they doing in the summer? What's being offered for them, and what opportunities do they have to engage?
All right, so I'm going to tell you that we were just notified this week that we will have, Clayton County will be using my school as a host site for one of the summer enrichment programs. And there's also another program looming on the table that, if all is approved, I may have multiple programs going on in my building this summer. And so parents just have to stay, that CCPS information blast that goes out via text message, email, I think if we still have channel 24, I don't recall, Dr. Haney, okay. And so the leaders of the buildings, we send out calling posts or school messengers, we send home flyers, we send home, we all but shout it from the rooftop. You just have to take advantage of. Right now, I want to mention for our families that are listening, the pre-K lottery is open right now. So you have, I believe, until next Friday to register your child if they'll be 4 years old coming up this year to get into that pre-K lottery. So if you don't seize the information or take advantage of the information, you will miss out. And now you're trying to scramble and get them somewhere in the fall. So we've got to use this information. It's there. We're a completely transparent school system. There are so many things going on. We have so many resources. Go to the Clayton County Public Schools website. You'll see everything. So
Thank you so much, Miss Jewel. As you support leaders and knowing that the work does not stop for a school principal or a school leader on the last day of school, it goes year round and even throughout the summer. So how do you encourage our school leaders? We talk about children and their needs. We talk about our teachers and their needs, but how do you encourage and support our leaders like principals as they prepare for the summer, as they plan activities excuse me, at their own individual location, or like Miss Bryant facilitating things that are being housed in her location? What support and what encouragement would you give them that the work continues even in the summer? And so how do you help them manage that and also practice self-care based on the support that you provide?
So it's so funny you ended with self-care, because I was going to say that May is Teacher Appreciation Week, the first week in May, but May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I think it is so important for leaders to go home at a decent hour. I think it is so important for leaders to stay home if they are sick. I think it is so important for leaders to take a breather, because we could stay at work all night. We could be at work for 24 hours a day and the checklist would still be there. And so if you do not take the time to take care of yourself, then you can't care for others. So I think number one, I think to prioritize your physical and mental health is something that I tell leaders. I know that there is a separation of church and state, but there is nothing for me to have a conversation with a leader and then the next day my devotional is centered around what they were struggling with, and for me to send that to them just to encourage them to keep on going. I am not above praying with leaders to encourage them. So I am really big on just taking care of yourself first, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. So that is my motto, but I also believe in going hard. And so, as I shared earlier, I am working with leaders on how do they stay consistent to end the school year, but also reminding them of the gaps that we've noticed as we walk through the classrooms, the strengths that there are to build upon. And then how do we start planning, right? Start planning right now for your summer leadership. I'm working with them on what is your summer leadership going to look like? What date? Do we have money? Do we have money to give people stipends to bring them in? Are we partnering with Cross Culture 365 Ministries to provide lunch for our leadership teams? Just trying to encourage them to do small tokens to encourage teachers, as well as to plan during the summer, but primarily taking care of your physical and mental health, because I just don't think we talk about that enough as people of color. And I think that we don't prioritize that. And it just happens that we're all women tonight on this screen, and Black women are known for wearing capes, where we are superheroes and we are Energizer bunnies, and we just do not stop. And we have to stop that, and we have to dispel that myth that we have to work 24 hours a day to be just as half as good as everyone else, but to learn to prioritize our own self-care.
All right. Thank you so much. We have 7 minutes remaining. And honestly, normally on our Teachers Lounge podcast, it may cut us off a minute before 8 o'clock, but I did not want to waste a moment. And so the last thing that I have for all of you, well, before I get to the last thing, I wanted to say thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you for tuning in to this podcast. If you've commented, if you shared a question, but I've seen some comments come through. So thank you for those who are watching and making these comments. And thank you for our exceptional panelists of guests. We apologize for the interruption earlier. However, we hope that you have gotten some great information, listened to some great conversation, and had an opportunity to see a little bit of what happens behind the scenes inside of our schools and inside those four walls. And so one last thing, ladies. Now, let me be clear about the rule here, because as leaders, we can have a lot to say at one time. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds. And I just want you to say whatever you feel should be shared with the culture, with the community, with the whole village that helps raise our children, from the church to the home to the school. But before you do that, I want to make sure that I announce that Cross Culture 365 Ministries, in partnerships with one of our schools in Clayton County Public Schools, will be hosting a summer enrichment program. That program will start on June the 3rd and continue to June the 28th. There will be an open house on April 13th as well as May 18th. More information to come, and you can find that on our website at Cross Culture 365 Ministries. If you can Google us, you can go to our Facebook page, or you can contact us directly. Thank you so much for that. And ladies, without further ado, you have 30 seconds, and then I'll need my 30 at the very end to close it out. So we're going to start with you, Dr. Green.
Thank you again for this opportunity. And I just want to say to the wonderful panelists, thank you, because this conversation, even though I was a panelist, it has been extremely inspiring for me. So I really appreciate it. One thing I just kind of feel led to say to parents, get in your children's business. Okay. There is a lot going on. And I know that we are on this panel focusing on setting up for the summer and getting ready for end of year tests. Be intrusive. These are your children. Be intrusive. Be nosy. Be an investigator. Monitor. Because that is showing love in this, in the world that we live in. It is so important that you know what your children are doing, who their friends are, what they're doing on social media, how active they are, in addition to their academic progress as well. Be intrusive. Don't back down. Go boldly. That is a part of loving and showing care. Go boldly. Be nosy. Ask questions. Get in front of them and say, I want to know who your friends are. What's going on in your mind? And that is kind of piggybacking off of what Ms. Jewell said as far as self-care and mental health care. Just being knowledgeable of that as well as their academics. And the summer is a great time to do it. Thank you.
That was my bad. Thank you so much, Dr. D.
I'm just going to say, hey, we need your support. Be about it. Don't talk about it. Be about it. We need your support in all areas, especially we need to support each other because, as you stated, Ms. Kern, that we have the grandparents and the guardians who are helping raise our children. So we need their support. We want to support them and tune to that as well. So get involved. Be about it. Don't just talk about it.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bryant.
I would say, education is something that everyone is entitled to. Take advantage of this amazing education, this amazing system. Support our board members, support our superintendent, support anyone in central office, support anyone in education that has a decision in what goes on with your child each and every single day. I would just ask that parents just be mindful of the things that we do. Let's make sure that we end our school year safely. We don't want any incidences. Just know that we have rules and structures so that we don't have chaos. We ask that you continue to respect the rules and boundaries that are set with our school district leaders, as well as our school leaders, such as myself. And we just ask, again, just continue to support us in the things that we do. We want our babies to be great. We want our children, our scholars to be excellent. And again, education is free for all. And we want to make the most of it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Miss Jewel.
Good evening. I would just like to say to parents that are listening, it's a partnership. Send your baby to school. Your baby may not be the brightest, may not be the smartest, may not be the top of the class, but send them to school and teach them to respect their adults, respect authority. I think that's something that's lacking. And so that's free. It costs you nothing to show up every day and to listen and to give your best. That's it.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you, ladies, for joining us on this episode of the Teachers Lounge. My name is Melanie Cumming, your host. I thank you all for joining us. And this is Women's History Month. So it's been a joy having this panel with you guys. You all are the experts in this area. We look forward to the success that all of you will have in leadership and support at the end of this school year, as well as throughout many years to come. We thank you for your servant leadership and your impact in the positive that you have on our villages that raise our children. Again, thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Teachers Lounge. Have a good evening and good night.